Okay, today we're going to go over the homework for percents of numbers. Today in class, we did do some guided notes that talked us through how to do that, and then we practiced a lot. We're going to go over a little bit of what I said. What is 50% of 100? So the what is, I don't know what that is. X is. Okay, 50% is 0 and 50 hundredths. Of means to multiply, and 100. So 50% of 100, if I use my calculator, if I think about it, I don't even have to use a calculator. 50% of 100 is 50. So the answer is 50. Again, I am going to be setting these up as equations just because that helps later when they're written a little bit differently, such as number 5. Okay, so when we get to number 5, we'll go through that. So number 2, 20% of 5 is, now just a reminder, there's not a number there. I have to figure out what goes there. So 20% is 0 and 20 hundredths. Of means to multiply, and 5. So on a calculator, I'm going to try to not have a glare. Sorry, I had to take my stuff home. I have 20% times 5 equals 1. So 20% of 5 is 1. Number 2, 3 and 6/10 is. Remember that is. That's what makes the equal sign. 3 and 6/10 is what percent of 18? So I don't know my percent. That's going to be my X. Of 18 means that I'm multiplying by 18. Well, now to solve it, I have to undo my multiplication here, which means that I'm going to be dividing. So X equals 3 and 6/10 divided by 18. It's going to get me a decimal. So on our calculator, I have 3 and 6/10 divided by 18. I get 0 and 2/10. I'm looking for a percentage, so I need to make this into a percent. So to go from a percent to a decimal, I go 2 to the left. To go from a decimal to a percent, I go 2 to the right, which means that it equals 20%. Okay, I'm going to try to get this a little bit closer. See if that helps. Sorry. Okay. Number 4. 4 and 36/100% of what is 9? So I'm going to set this up like an equation. 4 and 36/100%, I'm going to change it to a decimal. So I have to move it 2 places over. So it's 0 and 436 10,000ths. Okay. Of means to multiply. What is always X. It's what we don't know. Is means equals, and then it equals 9. So I need to set this up. X is going to equal 9 divided by 0 and 436 10,000ths, which is going to equal 9 divided by 0 and 400. No, I wrote that wrong. 0 and 436 thousandths. I apologize. I'm putting it into my calculator wrong. I'm reading this equation here, I need to read the one down here. So I have to start with 9 divided by 0 and 0 tenths, 4 hundredths, 3 thousandths, and 6 ten thousandths. I'm going to hit the equal sign. I get this big giant number here. I am going to round to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to look at this 2 here, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to look next door. It is 2, so that 2 does not change. It stays the same. So I'm going to write 206 and 42 hundredths and call it good. I'm not going to write the whole thing. Okay, box my answer. Okay, number 5. 1 is 25% of blank. So I'm going to say 1 is 25% of a number. I don't know that number yet. I have to figure that out. So it's 1 divided by 25% will get me that number. So my number, again, 1 divided by 0 and 25 hundredths is 4. So my answer, 1 is 25% of 4. Okay. Number 6. 16 is what percent of 32? So 16 is what percent? That's what I'm trying to figure out of 32. So if I'm going to try to figure out a percent, this is like trying to figure out a percent on a quiz or something. So if I do 16 divided by 32, I'm going to end up with my percent. So let's see. 16 divided by 32 is 0 and 5 tenths. So if I make that into a percent, I have to multiply it by 100, which is 50%. Okay. Okay, number 7, 160 is what percent of 100? Okay, same thing. I'm going to have to divide to undo this. 160 divided by 100 is going to give me X. 160 divided by 100 is 1 6 tenths. I have to change this to a percent. So if it's 1.6, I move it 1 6 tenths. I move it 2 places to the right. So my percent is 160%. Number 8, 74% of what is my X, is 660. Again, I have to work backwards. So X is going to equal 660 divided by 0 and 74 hundredths, or 74%. The decimal that I get is really large. So it's 891. And I'm going to round to the 10th or the 100th place value. So I'm looking at this 9 right here. If I look to the right, there's a 1, so the 9 stays the same. So it's 891 and 89 hundredths. That is my answer. Okay. Number 9, a poll surveyed 50 people. 32 said they had pet dogs. What percentage of people have a pet dog? Okay, so I need to have the number of pet dogs, number of people that have pet dogs, over the total number of people surveyed. This is like our when we do assignments, right? If I want to figure out the percent that I got on my quiz, I put the number that I got right over the number that I got that are total on the quiz or the test. So 32 people said they had pet dogs out of 50 total people surveyed. Remember, fractions mean division. This is 32 divided by 50. Clear out my calculator. 32 divided by 50 is 0 and 64 hundredths. I need to change that to a percent, so I multiply by 100, which is 64% of people have pet dogs. Okay, last problem, number 10. You should tip 20% at restaurants. If your bill is $26, how much should you leave as a tip? So I have $26, and I need to figure out what 20% of my total is. That's how much I'm going to leave. So it equals X. I don't know what it equals yet. So first step, write my decimal for 20%. Of means to multiply, and then I have to multiply it by the number of money I owe. Okay, that's going to get me 26 times 20%, $5, and well, it's 5 2/10, but it's in dollars. I can't leave it there. I have to have that hundredths place value. So the tip equals $5.20. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to come and talk to me and ask.